Hello and welcome to the Alexandra Wenman Show. My guest today is all the way from Australia. Her name is Lesley Benson and she's really fabulous, and I want you guys to know all about this woman. Lesley, thank you for coming on the show today.
Thank you for having me, Alex. It's a pleasure.
It's an absolute pleasure to have you, and I'm so delighted because you've come all the way over from down under to be here, so we get to do it in person, not on Zoom.
Yes, it's nice, isn't it? I love Zoom. I love the fact that, you know, we are so close, but it is nice to do things in person too.
Nice.
So yeah,
Nice.
that
We get to hug.
Yes, we get to hug, not the virtual hugs and the energy that we pass down the ether.
Absolutely, absolutely. So for people watching, can you just introduce yourself and a little bit about what you do, my darling? Because it's quite niche, this business
Yes,
of yours, isn't it?
It is. Well, where does one start? I'm about to launch a new group. I'm a lifestyle coach, a healer, speaker, general lover of life, big traveller. But in all of that, I actually found that there was an element missing. And one of the things, I was a single parent from always, and I navigated that, and my son's now, you know, on his own path, and I suddenly found myself as that, you know, the classic empty nester. And then I started talking to people, and I realized that there was actually there was a space in our lives, and so many people actually hit this empty nest. So I am about to launch something called Empty Nest Recovery, which I'm really, really excited about. And I've been talking to lots of people, and it's resonating so much with people. So we're going to be doing retreats, we're going to be doing coaching, we're going to be doing seminars and webinars, and we're also going to have a Facebook page called Empty Nest Recovery.
Support for the empty.
Absolutely.
It's amazing. Do you know, it's so timely too, because yesterday I was speaking to a good friend of mine, and literally like this week her daughter has just gone off to uni for the first time, and she's really struggling. She said, I'm so surprised at myself, but I've been really tearful, and it's like the house feels empty.
Yes.
So it's brilliant work.
And you know, I mean, there's a statistic out there that sort of the World Health and the UN and governments all around the world are getting very concerned about the loneliness of individuals on the planet. So this is where we fit in. We're actually sort of, you know, as I say, we're going to have lots of places with tips and places to go, places to share, because I'm a big believer that we all have something to offer, and we all, you know, we can't reach everybody on the planet, but the whole thing
Why
is...
not?
Well, personally, we can through so many other things, but you know, the fact that if we actually sort of filter out and actually touch people and people touch our lives, it's so beneficial, and I like living that way. So I do, as I say, with doing a lot of travel, I find myself in the position that I'm able to do this. So I'm super excited.
It's gorgeous. And so tell us a little bit about your journey that's kind of brought you to this place of launching this business, because you've been on quite a journey, quite a spiritual journey.
I have been
quite an inner path. Is there anything you'd like to share with people about that journey?
Yes. I think, like a lot of people that watch your show who are on a spiritual path, the last 18 months have definitely been tough. We've all had lots of lessons. There's lots of karmic lessons that we've all been having, lots of aha moments, lots of breakdowns.
Breakdowns, breakthroughs, breakups, breakovers, breakunders. Yeah,
that's the ones. So in all of that, I actually found that I was learning so much, and in my learnings, you know, it's so true. The universe only sends you what you need, and so people started to come to me that were actually sort of resonating with where I was at, and I you know, I'm a coach, and I found myself actually coaching people through this situation. I mean, even, you know, like not only, as I say, I'm a single parent, but there are a lot of people that get to this stage where their children leave home, and then suddenly their relationship falls apart. And so not only have you got to go through working out where your children are at, but you're also sort of suddenly thinking, well, who am I? And that's what I actually sort of found myself. I you know, my house structure changed about 18 months ago. My son went off to university in Australia, and I wasn't living in Australia. You know, that was when I met you, Alex, about 2.5 years ago, and I was living here in London. But yeah, so he is down in, and although I don't live in the same state as him, I am closer to him when I'm actually in Australia than I was here. But I realised that sort of, you know, he was navigating his path and I was to navigate mine. And that's how this spiritual journey started to come about. And then I realised, I kept getting the messages that, you know, you need to do this. It's a requirement. And I was like,
you're called, Lesley.
Yes, it was a bit of a bugle call. And then you think, no, not me.
Not yet. Not when? Yeah.
And you think, oh, and then that, you know, and you just can't. You turn around, and then there's something else there at the same time. So yes, so this journey, this path was definitely not straight. It was definitely curved. It was definitely sort of, you know, we were going right, then we were going left. And I always think of the moon, you know, when Apollo 11 went to the moon, and they always say that it was only on the trajectory for 3% of the time. And I smile every time sort of my journey changes, and I think, oh, right, okay, yep, if we're going to the moon, I'm on that, I'm in the right place.
Like, well, okay, I'm on track. No!
Exactly. So that's where it's been at, sort of thing. So I just find myself, people that come towards me are all in this space. Yeah. So you know that's what, you know, your journey is.
I always think the best therapists are the people that have kind of been through it and walked their talk themselves. You know, someone who has been on a journey, has had a difficult time, and kind of had, you know, found the tools within themselves to navigate through it, and found sort of what might work for them and what doesn't work for them, and is willing to kind of help others through it. That's what makes the best healers, I think.
And that's definitely, I can definitely attest to the fact that I have been on this path.
Hell yeah. Heavens, yeah.
So yes, and so that's how it came about. But now I'm at this stage where one of the things that I really learned from that, and I think was the real test, that I got that realization, I'm enough. And you know, which is big in lots of fields, sort of thing, across magazines, you hear, I'm enough. And I remember waking up a few months ago, sort of thing, and I, you know how you wake up and you sort of go, yeah, I am enough. Yeah. And it was a real point where I actually changed and suddenly thought, well, if I'm enough, I can teach other people to be enough.
Yeah.
And that's where I actually started to see a big change. So I love my life. I love all the things that are coming towards me, all the journeys I'm going on, all the countries I'm in. So yeah, next year I will probably be in lots of other places. I'm looking at doing lots of retreats around the planet next year. So yeah, anybody who wants to sort of keep in touch with us, as I say, we're just about to launch Empty Nest Recovery, and you can follow the journey. And if you've got tips to offer that you know, then anybody out there who wants to connect with us and actually be part of this global group.
It's gorgeous. So a whole community.
Yes.
Brilliant. And when you're working with people one-on-one, so say an individual comes to you, how does that normally work? Can you give us a little rundown of how you work?
I mean, I do one-on-ones sort of in person, but I do use technology a lot. So I am global. I have clients all over the world. I've got clients here in the UK, I've got clients in the States, I've got clients in Australia, in Asia. So yeah, I do have clients everywhere. Oh, I haven't got any in South America at the moment, but they're...
Time to branch out, South American viewers. You know where to find her.
Exactly. So yeah, that just suddenly came to me. Maybe there's something there. So yeah.
Maybe you need a trip down there just to do a recon.
Absolutely. So I do have some friends that live down there. So yeah, so I use technology. I use Zoom, I use Skype, I use Messenger, I use WhatsApp. Whatever's available, I use. And I'm very happy to use all the technology that's out there.
That's what's really beautiful, isn't it? There's a lot of kind of negative opinions about sort of social media and all this kind of Apple kit and smartphones and all that, because we always talk about people being kind of glued to their smartphones. But if you look at it on the plus side, on the positive, it's building global community. It's actually helping, I think, in many ways, well, if we're using it in the right way, to connect and create heart-centered communities.
And
we're tearing down borders, really, aren't we?
We are.
We're coming back to this almost global community where it doesn't matter what country you're from. You can be best friends and be on the other side of the world, and you can speak to each other every week on camera, and it's like being in the same room.
I
almost.
speak to people from all around the world every day. It's quite funny. I sort of look at the time. Oh, what time is it here? Oh, right. But so it's that time in that country. It's that time there. So my whole day is different time zones without thinking about it, sort of.
Yeah.
So it's great. And yes, I think technology is there, and it is useful, and we do, as you say, if it's used correct. But the other thing that I found out of using technology in that way is that we are actually becoming more social aware.
Yes.
So I've got friends who are social entrepreneurs. They are doing platforms all around the world, whereby they're helping communities through talking and going around the world. They've got products, yes, that they sell, but they're actually assisting other communities. And that's something that, is brilliant.
Yeah, it's gorgeous.
So there's it does have its benefit, and as I say, I connect in with it too.
It is, and I feel like, well, as healers and on a spiritual kind of network that we have, right? We operate on like this feeling empathic sort of network, don't we?
Yeah.
So many of us on the path with our natural sensitivity, and then with our rising sensitivity, I almost find that I can actually, if I see somebody suffering, if it's on the news or I see it on Facebook or something, I actually feel it like a physical sensation in my body. So it's like we can no longer say that what's happening on the other side of the world doesn't affect us. If somebody like the starving children in Africa, we can't turn a blind eye anymore. It's like it's not just something that's on telly. It now affects us. And now it's like for the people that don't have that level of sensitivity yet, because I do feel that everyone's awakening to this. With all the social media, it's almost like you cannot escape it. So you turn off your TV, but so many people are on their screens, and there's constantly on Facebook, there's advertising and newsreels and things like that happening. It's almost like so in your face that it has to be looked at, and it has to be acknowledged, and it has to be healed. And this is like where we're really coming together as, the level of compassion I feel on the planet, far from things getting worse, even though they feel intensified. It feels to me like there's this level of compassion rising amongst humanity, and in a way that it never really has before.
I totally agree with you. I mean, I talk to a lot of people, just walking past people. I mean, even today, having coffee on my way over here, I started talking to somebody in the coffee shop, and this gentleman said to me, people don't normally stop and say hello. I said, well, actually, don't you think it's time we did? And he sort of sat there and he looked at me and he went, do you know, he said, I've thoroughly enjoyed this conversation with a total stranger. He said, you've made me think. And he said, I'm going to do it more. Now, that's just a simple interaction.
Yeah.
But it may, it is about sort of getting out of your headspace and sort of thinking, well, they're people just like me.
Yeah, everyone's human.
Yes.
We often do marching through the tube and, I wish these people would get out of my way. You can feel the aggression amongst people, and people almost like blinkered, like not connecting, not having eye contact. I think we don't have enough eye contact anymore. And like often if you just look up and give somebody a smile, they might look away. They might kind of go, weirdo, but they might actually clock you and give you a smile back, and that makes it so
I think it's
worthwhile.
a bit of a challenge I actually have personally, that I like to smile at people and see how many do smile back, because it's the slightest change. If we all make just a 1 degree change in our behaviour, that 1 degree gains momentum, and then other people get that 1 degree, and as that 1 degree gets larger and larger, and that's the spiritual side of me. And I know you, it is about connectiveness. It is about, us raising this vibration of the planet.
Just a kind smile, like you can literally change somebody's day. Even just giving someone a compliment. I was on the tube again. I do a lot of travelling by tube in London. I was on the tube the other day, and this girl just came up to me with this huge smile and went, "Oh my God, I love your dress. You look beautiful." And I was like, like you just feel so like, oh, that was so kind, so nice of somebody who doesn't know you, just to give you a passing compliment. If more of us did that and helped uplift each other, the world would be a completely different place, wouldn't it?
It very much so, and that's what I love, sort of thing. I love, having eye contact with people. I mean, when I flew into Heathrow the other night, I was standing talking to somebody at the baggage carousel. And made a connection. So, you just never know how paths we're going to have.
I do have to say, though, as Aussies, we get away with it. I think there's something disarming about the Aussie accent.
Must be.
I was like standing waiting for a train, not a tube this time. I was waiting for a train last night back from Cambridge because I was giving a talk there. And the driver got on the train, but didn't open the doors and was like just leaving everyone standing in the rain. And I just turned to these two guys next to me. I went, "Yeah, you'd think you'd open the doors, wouldn't you?" And it was like they kind of fell about laughing. It was like they weren't expecting somebody to speak to them because everyone was kind of post-work briefcases, very like. And I was just like, bit of a job's worth that one. Bless him with love, keep us all standing in the rain. But it is just a passing comment, just to connect with human to human. It even something like that just breaks the ice and spreads a bit of love.
Well, absolutely. I mean, it does concern me that so many people are lonely. And there is actually no need for us to be lonely.
I was just going to come back to that, actually. The people that you do work with, the majority of these empty nesters, shall we call them, what are the predominant sort of issues that come up for them? Is it like a theme?
Yeah, loneliness is one. There is also a wish to change direction in life, a feeling that, and parents have done a great job of actually, and that should be acknowledged. I'm a big one for acknowledgement, but parents acknowledging what a fabulous job they've done for their children actually to be ready to leave the nest. So that is a huge one. And of course, we're, as human beings, we're not very good at rewarding ourselves, and we're not very good at acknowledging, success. So I'm a big one at sort of saying to people, well, okay, you've had a success today. How are you going to reward yourself?
And the freedom. You've got your life back, guys.
So, there is that side of it. So I'm very big on that. But of course, people then think, well, what do I do to fill that space? And so you either fit into two categories, really. You either do nothing, and then suddenly you wake up and, people pass over, and then they get to that point, and you know when people are like that, it's like, oh, if only I'd done this, if only I'd done that. So coming back to sort of this space where you actually have this empty nest and being aware that you can do something, and reaching out to somebody like myself who is in a position to actually guide you. You do the work, I don't do it for you, but to be in a position to actually, because I've done it myself, and because I know how important it is to reclaim yourself, to be able to sort of say, okay, well, let's guide you into your new life.
It's like having a cheerleader to help you start again. And
absolutely.
And also, like we were talking just a moment ago about accountability. Like, if I don't have someone there to hold me accountable, on the days that I have off work that I'm supposed to be doing the back end of the business stuff, I know I'm like a lady who lunches, and like I'll go off and or I'll spend all day meditating, or I'll decide to clean the house on that one particular day. So it's like paperwork. But if you've got someone there that's kind of rooting for you and encouraging you and lifting you up and elevating you, and also, it's more than that, isn't it? It's giving you tools to help you move forward, and ideas, and
Absolutely. It's a way of actually giving yourself space to explore. And as human beings, we're not very good at doing that. We're very good at sort of going with flow, but we're actually not very good at sort of like, putting the dam in the river and saying, and turning back and going, well, hang on, I would like to do something different. So having somebody there to support you that knows what you're going through is a great tool in itself, because you can then say, well, I'm having a bad day, or this didn't work. Okay, well, let's re-navigate that. Let's see where we go. And of course, there is, because it's not a judgment-based thing. You actually build up your own resilience to move forwards and try so many. People come to me and say, well, I want to do X, but then they get to X and realise that, oh, actually, I'd like to push myself to go to Z. And then suddenly it's like, wow, I've done all of this. So yeah, that's really exciting, and I love it.
What I love about you too, Leslie, is that, I know that it's going to be very bespoke to anyone that comes to you, and you'll meet them where they're at. You can meet them at their level.
Yes.
I'm always getting guidance through when I'm talking on the show. It's like, make sure she mentions this. I have to mention that Leslie is also incredibly psychic and very, very intuitive, highly intuitive. So she does, yes. So she will work with you at whatever level you're at, and she's very highly adept at kind of tuning into what each person needs.
Yeah, I am. I call myself a practical spiritualist and psychic, because I weave my psychic ability, and I should give the backstop to that. I've been psychic since childhood. My grandmothers would sort of guide me and sort of send me people to work with as a child. So I think, I'm in my 50s now, so I think, well, it's so normal to me.
Yeah.
It's like,
it's in that gypsy blood of yours.
It is in that gypsy blood of mine. And it is sort of like, well, yes, it's normal. It's like making a cup of tea to me.
Yeah.
So I don't think twice about it. So yes, I do weave it into my conversations, and say things as though we are having a normal conversation. So yes, I'm very intuitive. And lots of my clients say, you did it again. How did you get that? And I'm like, well, it just came to me. So
you do. You just kind of, I think, even with your little, instant inspirations that you have in the coffee shop and things, it's like just channels through you.
Yeah.
It's like just knowing what that person needs at any given moment and being guided, like, oh, I'll go to that coffee shop, and finding someone there who's going to be really appreciative of it.
Absolutely. I mean, and it was very funny. It was a chain coffee shop, and I actually walked past a shop of the chain and went, no, I'm not going in that one. There's one across the road. I'm going to go across there.
You went to the other one?
So I did it even there, sort of thing. I just went, no, I'm not going in that one. It's the other one across the road that I've got to go to. So yeah, I just, as I say, I don't even, I don't question it. I just go with it and sort of go with the flow on that. And as I say, like you say, I do get the channelings. I do get, and they just come out my mouth, and I don't think about them. So so I do that whole level of sort of the very practical sort of work orientated or family orientated or lifestyle orientated, but also, as I say, weaved into that.
Yeah, it's a very grounded approach, isn't it? It's very grounded spirituality. Yeah,
that's why I say it's I call it practical sort of thing.
I love it. And that's what this show's about. I'm trying to illustrate that, just because we're spiritual, everyone is spiritual. We're all spirit in a body.
Yes.
But, it's normal. It's just part of our daily life, our birthright. Most of us doing this work are normal people, and we once had normal run-of-the-mill jobs and all of that. So it's normalising the conversation, I think.
And that's it. And it is about, a friend of mine, she lives in the States, and she has a business that she calls Magical Conversations, and I'm going to borrow her Magical Conversation sort of title, because life is a conversation.
It is, yeah.
And and it's every conversation has the ability to be magical.
Exactly. I don't think there should be anything off limits, really. I think some people have fears about certain topics, but you know what? If you just gently. And do it with love.
Yeah.
So, for our viewers, Leslie, how can people find you? Have you got a website?
I'm actually going out to the States next week to do my new website. So you can catch me at the moment on my Facebook page, which is Lesley Benson. I'm wearing a red dress.
Fabulous.
So friend me there and just send me a message through Messenger. And my email address that I'm using for my business is Lesley Benson. It's Lesley Benson 444@gmail.com. So any of your
It's
viewers,
444, yeah. So Lesley Benson 444@gmail.com. And what I'll do is once you have got the website up and running, I'll share all those links below, and
Great.
I'll share the Facebook link. So if you're watching this, just have a look below the video. There'll be all the details. You can just click on a link and find Lesley there.
Great.
So my darling, what's coming up for you in the future? What would you like to do? Where would you see your business going?
I see my business being very global. I don't, it's very interesting. I have lived in lots of countries, as you know, and I struggle to think where's home. So I actually do, say Lesley Benson Global.
Bit of a nomad, you are.
Yes, but I like having, as a Cancerian, it's been a really interesting journey because of actually being in this space of, weaving around the world at the moment. So there has been that internal struggle of Cancerians love having a home, but as I say, I'm a Cancerian that loves travel as well. So I'm kind of having to sort of create my own home.
Just like a little turtle with your house on your back.
It's funny you should say that, because I actually many years ago I was a brownie leader in my 20s, and in Australia.
I can see that actually.
In Australia, and you had to have an Aboriginal name, and the girls chose for me Kantara, which was a tortoise.
Oh, it's so cute. Totally nomadic. Yeah, I love it. Beautiful.
So I always think of I'm Kantara. So my bags and my house is on my back. I do see myself traveling a lot over the next couple of years, spending time in different places, reaching out, doing lots of retreat work and workshops. I definitely been getting that in my messages.
I think your workshops and retreats are just going to be an absolute scream.
Yes.
I think if nothing else, this woman is going to inject so much joy back into your life just by being in her presence. Like, how can you like that smile and those sparkly eyes? Seriously.
Yeah, I am. And I, as I say, because I interject spiritual sort of teachings with, as I say, learning lessons. So that and I do challenge. There's a few things in my workshops that I want you to challenge yourself on. But I only will go at the level that you're at. So, but there's such wins. There's such wins that you get through them, sort of thing, and learning about yourself and what you as an individual is capable of. So that's where I feel that I'm getting guidance that I will be doing a lot of over the next couple of years.
Amazing. So excited about the future, and excited about the future for all those, especially the people who are going through the whole empty nest and need a bit of new help and guidance and direction in their lives, and anyone else too, because this woman is a whole bag of tricks. So but Lesley Benson, thank you so much for joining me today on the Alexandra Wenman Show.
Thank you for having me, Alex. I've loved it. It's been such a pleasure. So thank you. My pleasure. It's been wonderful. And to all our viewers, thank you so much for watching. I'd love to hear your comments, any feedback that you have about the interview or the show in general, and any topics that you'd like me to cover on this show. As I said, there's nothing really that's off limits. It's all about consciousness, well-being, spirituality, just raising the vibe of the planet. So please like and share, and do subscribe for more interviews and more great shows. So thank you so much for watching. Thank you.